sit on down and let me tell you the story of a boy and a boy. They weren't good at much, well, beyond being boring. They sat at a desk, and those two did a mic test. Next thing you know, they made my least favorite podcast. Hello and welcome to my least favorite podcast. My name is Dave. Hello.
Oh, and my name is Ben.
The year was 2011. MTV had branched out of music videos for a while at this point, and they'd been dabbling in teen horror films. Having just recently released My Psycho Sweet 16, a fictional film using the reality television property from MTV, My Sweet 16. The music television network took this small success and went on to produce and premiere today's topic. The Truth Below is a made-for-TV movie about 4 college students taking spring break in a ski resort in Colorado before heading back to school. The movie's cast is very small, consisting mostly of the 4 main characters. There really isn't much info about the movie, and the movie itself is not available to watch. So, on this edition of the podcast, we have a guest. It's Isaac from Dave and Isaac Discuss. Isaac.
Oh, this is where I come in?
Yep. This is the one. All right, guys.
Oh.
I have been talking about this movie for literally 10 years, and I realized that this movie is 10 years old. It turned 10 in April, and so it's time to tell the story of the 2011 MTV made-for-television psychological thriller horror teen movie, The Truth Below.
I hate this movie.
You know what, Ben? You and everybody I have talked to, everybody I have made watch this movie is mad that I like it. Our opening shot is a snow landscape. Close-ups of icicles and dripping snow are the backdrop to our opening credits. The useless close-ups continue. We see a snowboard and some hotel curtains before we see 4 college students sleeping. 3 dudes, 1 gal. 2 of the guys are in one bed, and the woman is on the second bed. The 4th member of the group is
The standard arrangement.
Of course. 4th member, he's sitting on a chair in his hat, coat, and pants from the previous day's ski trip. He's passed out. There's beer bottles, pizza boxes, coffee cups. There's clothes spread around the room everywhere. We cut to the stark, dead face of Reed Ewing, and that's the actor's name. He's most notably known from Modern Family, in which he plays Haley's idiot boyfriend. And he's the only recognizable face in this movie because he was Haley's idiot boyfriend in that incredibly popular show. Turns out, this side note, but I read an article about him, very sad. He went and did like a shitload of plastic surgery on himself by the age of 18. He's like, oh, I'm an adult and I can sign the paperwork. But back to this shit. He's just got his eyes open, staring at the only girl there while they're all asleep. So he pretends to stay asleep as the guy in the bed next to him gets up. He looks around the room, opens the curtains in a wake the fuck up type of gesture, and he proclaims for the group he's with that it's their last day on the mountain and it's time to get going. So our creeper dude throws a pillow at the loudmouth, and we learn that his name is Dante. We hear our female lead speak up to say it's cold in the room. She is under none of the blankets that are on the bed, and that prompts our weird dude to crawl on top of her and say, quote, well, if you want to build a fire, I got some morning wood. She does laugh at this and says stop as he humps her a bit, and we'll get back to what's happening there. But it's weird and gross, sure.
I feel like it's clear what's happening there.
Either way, the dude rolls off of her, and we hear Dante say, quote, Ethan, softly. And
That was fast.
Yeah.
He still lasted longer than me.
So our creep's named Ethan. And I'm not trying to malign the Ethans of the world, but I just kind of feel like it's a good creep name. That's it. So Ethan says he calls dibs on the first shower, and then literally, no joke, he says that line, gets out of frame from the bed, and inside of 4 seconds, he says, quote, Jenna, there's room in the shower for one more. And so now we know her name's Jenna. But the point I'm making is that the 4 seconds he goes off screen and starts talking again, he starts clothed. After that, he leans out of the bathroom topless, completely nude. And it's the kind of cuts that they make for time that aren't obvious initially, but make it feel kind of weird. Anyway, Jenna says she's all right, but offers that extra space to Dante and Liam. So we have our characters' names, Jenna, Dante, and Liam. And Ethan, our creep. All four of these
very
people...
2000 names.
Do what? Oh, very 2000.
Yeah. Very 2011 names.
Yeah. I don't really think you should use Dante anymore unless it's for Dante's Inferno or Clerks sequel. So,
Right, Clerks gets the pass.
It's one of the few. All four of these people generally suck, and Liam's the only one who seems like a decent person. And this is when he finally speaks. He asks what happened to him last night. Jenna and Dante chuckle and say he was passed out there when they got back. So who the fuck knows? Because this movie doesn't care about backstory. Liam looks longingly and with the eyes of a hungover college student at the coffee maker. He quietly laments to himself about how he just wants coffee. And then he states clearly, I'm going to get some coffee. Jenna seconds that. Dante gives Liam cash and says, just go get everybody some coffee. Dante comments to Jenna that Ethan's bag looks like it exploded all over the room and doesn't understand how Liam can live with him. But remember that doesn't matter. They live in college dorms. Anyway, Jenna says he's lucky he got a single and she got, quote, tossed in with a stranger. I guess that's what they call your freshman friends, your throwaway friends, right? Dante sheepishly replies, yeah, while he continues to pack his shit, which includes his shirt off of his back in front of the windows while Jenna looks with some lust in those eyes. And I'm not saying like she acted well, because she did, but the camera pulls up on her like it's trying to fuck her. So Dante doesn't notice, and when he goes to turn around with another shirt on he just put on, Jenna gets up and asks about a girl he's been with. So let's play the first clip of the episode here and put a voice to Dante.
Oh, no, that's history. She's cool and all, but I'm pretty sure the girl I'm actually into has something going with somebody else. So I'm trying to stay back.
Jenna asks who the girl is, and that's when Ethan walks out of the bathroom, showered and in a robe, holding 2 beers, and asks, quote, it's not too early for these, is it? Then he smells the tension in the room and says, quote, did I interrupt something? Jenna and Dante actually act weird for no reason and say they're just cleaning up. Oh, and apparently based on the edits, Ethan took that shower in under 2 minutes without the sound.
Oh, good for him.
Do what?
Good for him.
Yeah.
He's concerned about the water.
He did, and also
He wants his grandchildren to have water.
the shower
You could take a lesson from him.
The shower makes no sound, but he leaves the door open the whole time. Anyway, none of it matters because we cut to a wide shot of a ski lift. Our gang of idiots head up the mountain, and in the far background you see 4 people on one lift. You see that our gang of 4 has decided to sit on separate lifts for some reason. And Ethan and Liam are on one, Dante and Jenna on another. Ethan yells up at Jenna, quote, first one down wins a lap dance from Jenna. Jenna yells back some stupid shit about getting to the top of the hill, making it back down, coming back before the lift, blah, 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 before he starts. And so Dante asks Jenna if she ever gets tired of him. And so let's hear what Jenna says.
Ethan? Nah, he's harmless.
And we cut to the top of the... Yeah, he's harmless. Yeah, fuck it. Cut to the top of the hill. That's when we see Ethan get hit with a snowball from Jenna, and Dante sits next to Ethan while they strap into their boards. So here's what we got. Ethan says to Jenna, quote, you throw like a girl. And Jenna says, quote, that's funny because you kind of catch like a sexist jerk. And immediately, Ethan says this to Dante.
Expectation management. What are you talking about? That is how you become and stay friends with benefits.
You know, she never acts like you guys are anything more than just...
Ah, yeah, that's because it's not a real relationship. It's just like an occasional transaction. Yeah, she uses me too. That's the beauty of it. And hell, she's never complained.
So that song you hear starting is when Ethan and Dante don their goggles and stand up. Jenna slides behind and asks if they're ready. The song kicks in real hard as they crest the top of the hill. The song continues to rise as the camera pans down to the group of four as they walk to their car with boards in hand. We never see them snowboard once in this film. Ethan gives Liam a noogie, and they start to load the car. Liam hits his inhaler, gets in the back seat, calls his mom. His mom, by the way, is the only parent in this movie. So, let's get a clip of Liam.
That explains a lot.
Hello? Hi, Muffin. Are you on your way home yet?
Yeah, we're gonna leave soon.
I'm making stew. You want to invite your friends for dinner?
No, I think they want to get back to school.
Okay, you be careful, sweetie. I love you.
And you know what? She gets one more scene, and for some reason, I put a lot in this script about it because it's very weird to me. Remember he's got his inhaler? Don't worry, the movie harps on that shit coming up. All right. Ethan gets into the other backseat, prompting Liam to close his phone before responding, "I love you, Mom." And just remember, this is a terrible horror movie, so he's gonna die. Ethan, like any bully, asks, quote, "Mommy is worried," and Liam shyly tells him to piss off. Finally, we see that Ethan sees Dante and Jenna exchange a look, which prompts him to give a sneer and then a sinister smile to only us, the audience, for some reason. Now, I want to mention this, and it does not matter, but Isaac. This entire movie centers around this group of students stuck in this vehicle. What vehicle is it? They don't exactly say it out loud at any point. No sponsorship, you see. But it is a 1998 tan, they do call it silver later, tan Chevrolet Suburban. Now, I love that car. I grew up riding around, and that it was a 98 white Suburban we had, right?
Exactly the same thing. I think it was in 96 or 7, but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter at all.
The same car.
Same car. And I followed that with my first and only car. For the first 7 years, I had a vehicle and a license. It was a green 97 Chevy Tahoe, which, like you just said, it's the same car. And I love that Tahoe. It was all of our transport for quite a while. And I have vivid memories because of the scars on my hands from patching tires to come to see you, Ben, every day.
Oh, yeah. Worth it every time.
Sharp gravel.
So I even have like that piece of metal, that chunk, that weird chunk that we found in there. I carry that with me. Anyway, so our crew is all packed up. They hit the road. We get a close-up of Liam lighting up a joint. And
All right, Liam knows how to have a good time.
yeah, he coughs violently and everyone chuckles. And then Dante remarks, because don't forget, Isaac, it's probably not good with Liam's asthma. And then we get a very weird cut where Liam quickly says sarcastically, "Nice, it's out." And then Jenna randomly remarks, "Oh, this is a good song." She leans forward in the car, and then we just cut outside to them driving along and then back in the car like it's been a few minutes. So they're passing.
Clearly, they couldn't afford the licensing fees.
Well, I don't even have anything in this script about it because I don't know anything about the band. But apparently, the main, all the licensed music in this is from the band A Day to Remember. And since I don't know anything about them, I can't really write anything about them. And while articles say that the music features heavily in this movie, it's just a pop punk band over a movie. That's it. Yeah, that's it.
That's also very early 2000s.
Exactly. So they're passing the joint around. Dante says he's good as he's the one driving, and that's when lights and sirens start behind them. They begin to pull over.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I know, right? They attempt to rush the smoke out of the windows. They stop, And for some reason, Dante not only has a bottle of Febreze, but guess what? He uses it in the car real quick. So we see, yeah.
Was it actually Febreze? Is that the one sponsorship?
I don't think it was intentional. We see the sheriff step out of his vehicle in the side mirror of the Suburban while Jenna says not to worry, which is when we see her pull her shirt down to reveal the top of her bra. She sits unbuckled, pressing her tits together while giving those doe eyes, and Dante rolls his window down. He's approached by the only good character in the film, and I mean that. This is our unnamed sheriff. Sheriff.
Afternoon.
Afternoon, officer. Was that speeding?
License registration, please.
Jenna quickly pulls out the registration while Dante gets his license, and Jenna leans forward and says to the sheriff, quote, "I like your hat." To which he responds,
Part of the uniform.
That's the best response.
Have you ever been pulled over though, and they're just like right away license and registration? It's never started with that, but do you know why I pulled you over?
No, I have been pulled over, and that's exactly what happened.
Really?
And I had to say, I don't even know why you're pulling me over.
I got pulled over.
To which he replied, you were speeding.
Oh, yeah.
Which
Yeah.
was... we don't need to get into it.
I know. You know what, Ben? Don't bring this up. Don't do this. Don't make him so upset. So
Anyway, it has happened to me, and he was an asshole.
yeah, Isaac got ticketed and I didn't. So Jenna looks slightly bothered that her flirting didn't work. The sheriff tells them to sit tight while he takes the license and registration to his car. We see the deputy on the back of the Suburban via the driver's side mirror. And as the sheriff is out of earshot, Liam says, quote, "They know they have to know." Ethan has a thought and says, well, if they do have a secret, Jesus Christ. Ethan has a thought and says, quote, "Well, if they do, we still have a secret weapon." And Dante asks, quote, "Oh yeah, what's that, Ethan?" So let's take a listen to this quick response.
Jenna can pull the lollipop card.
What? God, dude, you are such a douche sometimes. I swear.
What? Seriously, that old guy's probably not had a knobber for like a whole decade. You'd only have to deal with the full-blown Stallone for like a minute. Maybe two on the very outside.
Wow, Ethan, you've clearly thought that one out. Maybe you should do it.
Okay, shh. He's coming back.
Oh, the sheriff's coming back. He comes back from one
A
of...
full-blown Stallone.
It's a pretty... I do like that. I mean, I like that dialogue.
It's pretty good.
Not fully mad at that. But, guys, I promise you, one of the best lines ever is coming up. Just give it a second. As the sheriff comes back from one of the fastest fucking license checks I've ever heard about, Dante rolls down the window. The sheriff asks what they've been up to, and Dante, in an honestly perfectly acted scene, responds like he's stoned, though he's the only one sober. And what I'm saying here is that this is exactly the thing a college student would do behavior-wise when just feeling nervous about talking to a cop that pulled them over. So let's check this out.
Well, we were actually just on our way back from the resort. We're going back home. I mean, back to school because our spring break is over.
That's not the best line I'm talking about,
That's
but it's solid,
pretty
right?
accurate, though.
Yeah. So the group in the car each get a quick close-up shot showing their nervousness when we cut back to the thickest mustache on the mountain. And a quick side note for you guys here. This guy is wearing earmuffs on top of everything else. I'm going to throw a little picture in there. This will be on the website if you guys want to check out myleastfavoritepodcast.com. But yeah, he's got a thick-ass mustache. It's pretty dope. I like this guy. He says, quote, "I'm guessing we missed the sign."
It's not real.
It's not a real mustache?
It does not look real.
I know it doesn't look real, but you haven't seen the movie. I'm willing to bet it's real.
All right.
Dante asks, "What sign?" while looking around the car to equally confused faces. The sheriff says they have to chain up. Dante kind of confrontationally remarks, quote, "Day like today?" Regardless, the sheriff responds with stern and helpful words. The guy gets about 120 seconds of screen time, and dialogue is rare. So let's hear his response.
When the sun goes down, temperature drops. That means black ice underneath the snow. A lot of these roads haven't been plowed or salted yet. You know, I could write you a hefty ticket.
Jenna, with her arms pushing her breast as tightly as possible, asks, and I quote, Is there somewhere safe we could do it? Stares get exchanged. Silence is held. And eventually the sheriff says, there's a gas station up ahead, and they can put tire chains on there. He then warns them by starting to say, quote, if I see you with that... And that's when Dante, relieved, cuts him off by saying, quote, you will not. But the best line in the film is in this super early scene, and it's from our sheriff.
Be safe. Oh, and, miss. Thanks for the show. It wasn't necessary. But it's always appreciated.
Now, I want to say this. This part comes off strangely genuine, like in a very kind way. The sheriff here puts off like a likable and understanding vibe. He looks at them as kids who can take care of themselves, but need to attempt and be safe. When he says this to Jenna, it's uniquely sweet in a way as to say, like, kids, you're in over your head here, and the pot in the vehicle could get me stoned. It's so pungent. But I can see your driver's doing the right thing, so let's get you home safe. Let's keep you from a senseless record, right? Because they're all white. So I know it's a fucked up... I know that's a fucked up character to give somebody. And I said he gets minimal dialogue in a 120-second role, but this guy is great. So as soon as the sheriff walks back to his vehicle, the entire group begins to laugh, including Jenna, though embarrassed for a slight moment. So she grabs her phone to distract herself and says, quote, can we just get out of here? And we see the Suburban pull up to a gas pump. Dante fuels up. The music intensifies as we see him pull out of his wallet and take a folded up piece of paper out. We can't see what's on it, and he doesn't unfold it. Instead, he twirls it in his fingers before getting startled by Ethan closing the back door. He quickly sneaks the paper back in his wallet and his wallet back in his pocket. Ethan doesn't notice this, but he does say he has bad news, and that is he forgot the chains. Quote, I remember forgetting them now. Dante begins to ask what the hell that means when Ethan says to shut up as they see the sheriff passing by in his truck, which this is my note, but the sheriff's truck isn't chained, and the tires don't even look like they're snow tires, but that's just a side note.
How appropriate.
Right. Dante says to just mime getting the chains out, and Ethan acts like he's getting something from the back. And they nod to the sheriff and deputy as they pass by. The sheriff looks at them and pulls away, convinced they're getting the work done. Dante and Ethan exhale from relief, and we cut to Dante and Ethan coming back to the car from inside the gas station. Dante says, well, they do not have chains for sale, which is odd phrasing, but could apply, as they never mention, but this is a literal... that like there is a literal tire chain sign and shelf. I mean, it's empty, but it is sitting directly outside of the gas station that they are parked at. It says tire chains for sale. Anyway, Ethan says the guy did give them a route to get back on the highway, so they should be good. An exterior shot shows the Suburban approaching a split in the road, and Ethan says, quote, that's our turn. They take a left down Archaron. I'm going to call it Archaron Road. That's what it looks like. But everything tells me to autocorrect it, so I don't think it's real. And it is clearly packed down hard with snow and ice. Inside of the car, Ethan decides to pull something from the back, and when he does, he moves his whole body around and knees Liam in the gut playfully. Dante jokes, quote, everybody's got their seatbelts on, right? And Ethan says, quote, don't you love these family vacations? And Liam, in a joking tone, says next year he wants to go to Disneyland. The group laughs, and we get a sense that this is a fun trip. Things are looking good, guys. This is the exact moment. We also see Jenna give another seductive look Dante's way. And Dante turns his head to meet her gaze. Gives us a little small smile, then looks back to the road. And Ethan asks to use Dante's phone. Dante says, there's no signal on his phone. Then Ethan bugs Jenna to use her phone, and she replies, no, I'm not giving you my cell phone so you can text all those skanky chicks you know. He sarcastically asks if she's jealous, to which she says, quote, only one word, hardly. This is accompanied by Dante staring at her again. Now, Ethan proclaims that permawood is a serious condition, and we see the exterior of the Suburban moving along before cutting to Dante looking very nervous. Now, Jenna says, this looks dangerous, and Liam asks Dante to slow down. We see him tapping on the brakes before saying this.
You guys, we're sliding. I am not driving this car anymore.
This is gonna suck.
Everybody, hold on!
The car crashes horribly in the snowbank on the edge of the road, putting them at the bottom of the hill. We see the inside of the car, and everyone is knocked out. And in the only good shot of the movie, Dante's passed out against the steering wheel, and the camera is outside of the windshield. The camera changes focus from Dante to the reflection in the glass and reveals an avalanche happening. The shot holds until right before the snow collides with the Suburban, and we cut inside to watch the snow envelop the car. Now, I know that you need to have some light coming through to make this like a visual movie. However, the entirety of the film from here acts like they are under so much snow that it's impossible to dig out. But you also can see the snow on the outside. They're not so deep that zero light is making it through the snow. And I could be wrong here, but I feel like if you can see light through the snow, then it's thin enough for you to break through. Either of you scientists know the answer to this one?
You know, I feel like where there's a will, there's a way. And if there's light, I'm getting out.
Let's see if they have will. We cut to black. Actually, it's a commercial break. And we return to Dante waking up, Liam wheezing, and the dome light is on. Dante looks very confused until he sees Jenna is still passed out and quickly tries to wake her up while Liam asks, "Where's his inhaler?" While Liam frantically looks around, Jenna wakes up and asks Dante why he's bleeding. This is when Ethan chimes in. Ethan lays across the back seat, head in Liam's lap. Now, here's what he sounds like. I thought, aw, that's okay. I guess I lost that clip. But of all of them, it's just him screaming that his arm is really wrong, so I wouldn't worry about it. Jenna says they'll put it back in. Now she tells you...
How did he...
What?
How did he dislocate an arm?
Well, remember, he
In a
wasn't
car
buckled
crash.
in because he was getting something out of the back seat. I know. Wear your seatbelt, fuckers!
Click it or ticket.
Click it or pop it. All right, Isaac. It's time?
Yes.
Now, Jenna says she'll put it back in. She tells Ethan to close his eyes, and on the count of 3, she'll go. So it's time for the first quiz of the episode. And Ben, if you don't remember, you can play these games too. So these quizzes will be multiple choice. So Isaac.
Oh boy.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Does she put the arm in the socket and make him a sling? That's A. Or does she B. Attempt on the count of 2 and actually miss the socket? Does she C. Put the arm in the socket and give him a kiss? Or does she D. Count to 3 and do nothing?
It's got to be B.
Attempt on the count of 2 and actually miss the socket?
Yeah.
Let's give it a go.
No, just do it.
1, 2.
Now, Dante immediately jumps into action finally and tells Ethan to take a big breath as he leans over, and before you know it, he twists Ethan's arm back into socket. A close cut of Jenna's hands in her purse shows her pull a pill bottle up and shake out the last 2 large pain pills. These things are fat as fuck. We know
horse tablets.
Yeah, man, we know that this is pain pills because Dante is heard asking what they are, and she says, they're pain pills. And then he actually very judgingly asks, quote, what for? And she says, quote, I don't know, fun, before giving them to Ethan.
Yeah, ibuprofen is very fun.
They look like horse pills, man. Liam helps Ethan drink from a water bottle, and the silence sets in. And a cut that feels like it indicates time happens, but all that's supposed to indicate is that, like, they're noticing their surroundings. It's very weird. Dante sees the darkness around him and asks if they're buried. Then panic sets in. They can't open the doors, and they go to the rear of the car, trying to open that door. Dante has the idea he's going to drive them out. Jenna and Liam sit in the back with all the dome lights on, and Dante attempts to speed out of there, which lets exhaust in through the cracks of the back door. Liam and Jenna...
No shit.
Yeah. Liam and Jenna try fucking jumping up out of there real quick, and in one of my favorite lines in the movie, Dante says only this out of desperation.
Cell phones. Great.
And I tell you what, it feels like he's saying that in the way, like, just to the audience. It's such an example, like, of what horror films felt like they had to explain once cell phones became the norm. Guess what happens?
There's no signal.
Yeah. You're fucking right. There's no signal. It's fucking stupid. Dante, in desperation, and some that I can understand, honks the horn a bit. Then Jenna agrees, and in a fit of weird control, uses her hands to also honk the horn at the same time. And then Ethan says, quote, don't be stupid. Have you ever tried to scream in a pool before? Which, in my opinion, was also dumb.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. That has nothing to do with this.
I mean, a little bit, but it's still stupid. Now, before commenting... Now, he also comments... What?
It's the origin of the classic phrase, have you ever tried honking a horn under snow?
You know what? It better start being a phrase. Ethan comments, they don't know where they landed, and that loud sounds can make it worse, which is a possible good point. The only one so far. Now, Liam gets mad, and he says that Ethan doesn't know where they landed either. And Ethan screams, he doesn't care, and he just wants the fucking horn to stop because it's making him sick. And I thought that that was the best point that he can make. Now, there's a little extra tension. And Dante screams at Ethan that if he had brought the chains, they wouldn't even be there. And Ethan only screams, quote, this is your fault, before the lights go out. And that's it. Dante just turns them back on and things quiet down. Then Dante decides that he should try getting out the window and possibly digging. So he asks for a glove, and he does not put his beanie back on, which he took off earlier. He took that off when Jenna asked why he's bleeding. He rolls his window down, and in a half-assed attempt to get, like, some snow on his head, he, like, just immediately rolls it back up. Ethan remarks, that was a crap plan, dude. And Liam pulls Ethan's bag from the back so they can put all the snow that Dante just dropped in there into the bag.
Into the bag? Where it should go.
Yeah. Well, that's Ethan's bag, so he's pissed about it. But anyway, he's all zonked out, and his arms got popped back into socket after it was missed, so he doesn't care right now. Jenna asks Ethan, how are the pills treating him? And he says he's not seeing, quote, cartoon stars anymore, and they return that bag back to the trunk. Then Jenna, in a hopeful tone, says someone will see the tire tracks and come and get them. Ethan chuckles, and then Liam says that his mom is expecting him home, and she'll freak out when he's not home. So there's some good news. So Ethan, helpful as always, says, quote, I guess Liam's mommy will save us. And that's our cue to cut to Liam's mom. Passed out in her living room chair with no shit, a lit cigarette in her fingers, and a glass of what looks to be whiskey or scotch. The camera pulls...
Okay.
What? I mean, she's an adult. I'm not, like,
Sounds
mad
like a good
at her,
time.
but it's not a good time for her to be doing it of all nights. But I'm about to show you guys. It pulls in, and leans on her arm in frame with her hand on the glass and the cigarette in her fingers lit, and an ashtray with probably 12 butts in it and 2 pictures of Liam as a boy. The boy with asthma. So this shot just kind of confuses me. She doesn't smoke outside? I'm not super judging, but I am curious, why? It's not, anyway.
It's the stress of being a single mom. How else are you supposed to deal with it?
Kind of. You
just got to smoke and drink all the time.
This whole camera shot coming up to her is interspliced with her stew overboiling because she's asleep. Anyway, time for an ad break. So we come back and we're in the car. It's very quiet. Everyone is just sitting there. When Ethan speaks up saying, "They'll freeze to death down here," which prompts a nice little filler scene to remind you that Liam has asthma. He says, quote, "If only," and Jenna asks what that means. And here's Liam explaining.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Well, we each use 370 cubic feet of air a day.
How the hell do you know that?
I'm a nerd with a lifetime of acute asthma. But that's 370 divided by 24 is, was 15 and change. So, round it down, that's 15 cubic feet per person per hour.
So, I don't get it, Liam. 15 times 4 is...
Equals we're pretty much dead meat in the next couple hours.
And I named that clip, Liam, "Well, we use so much blah, blah, blah." Dante says, quote, Dante says they're on, quote, "one of those Discovery Channel survival things. What do people do on those?" And Jenna responds somewhat well. She says, quote, "Well, the people who usually survive kind of just sit still and wait for help." But that's what's supposed to convince us as to the reason they stay in the car for this whole movie. And I want to explain that they do not look nor ever act like they are chilly, let alone cold. More to come. Dante agrees.
They probably aren't. Snow is a great insulator.
I've heard. Dante agrees to Jenna's statement. And that's why they stay put. Stay calm and take care of each other. And Liam says...
Can I ask a question?
You should.
How long before one of them fucks Jenna because he doesn't want to die a virgin?
You'll see.
Okay.
Liam says what everybody's thinking about. Probably. If they're watching the movie right now.
I wish that cop busted us for something. Anything.
Right? Please, God, take me to prison. Dante chuckles and states a jail cell would rock right now. Ethan, again, helpfully, says that Jenna killed them with their cleavage. Now, this clearly exhausts her immediately, and she mumbles she didn't kill anyone with cleavage, then calls him a jackass. She turns her back to everyone, and while we hold the camera on her face, she just says, quote, "Someone's gotta find us." So, guys, this movie is 1 hour and 20 minutes in total with credits. Guess how far in that we are right now to the movie?
God, I hope about an hour.
After Jenna I wouldn't worry about it. Jenna says someone's gonna find us as we cut to the road where a snowplow passes. And that's it. And then we cut to Liam screaming out of nowhere that he can't stand this place. And he wonders why them. And Jenna says, they have to stay calm! And asks if they should play a game. Now Liam simply says, quote, "This is unbearable." That's it. Then Ethan verbalizes the plot of the film for us. And here it is, the premise of the film. We've made it to the first of 2 stupid as fuck speeches from Ethan.
Maybe it's unbearable, or maybe it's an unexpected, oddly morbid opportunity.
Oh. Well, this ought to be good.
I'm just saying that the fact that we're probably, maybe, definitely going to die kind of frees us.
No, I think it's the pain pills that kind of free you.
We became friends because we've lived on the same floor since September, correct? But do we actually know each other? We just assume we know each other.
What are you talking about?
I think we don't. I think we don't know each other for real. I'm absolutely 100% certain we don't. You wanted something to do to pass the time, well, here you go. How about the truth game? You're like fessing up to anything.
After a moment of silence, Jenna suggests that Dante goes first, and he bluntly says, quote, "I'm just supposed to admit something?" After some...
Why did he say it like that?
It's also stupid, man. After some verbal prodding by Ethan, Dante says that if it's Ethan's stupid idea, he should go first. So, he's all in. Let's hear the first truth. This is it.
Okay. I'll set the precedent for our little game. None of you really know me. Or else you know that I used to dig through my sister's clothes and find a pair of panties I liked.
Wait, what? Like you wore them?
No, I didn't wear them. I'd wait till no one was home, and I'd put them on my hand, and I'd imagine her wearing them.
The music kicks in, and we see...
That musical stinger.
That's right, dude. That music kicks in, and we see Ethan at home alone, imagining his sister nude in front of him. Her, like, literally, they just use her hair to cover her nips, and then they use, like, framing to cover her bush. Probably lack of. This is 2011, and she looks to be, I hope to God, like 1920. Otherwise, I don't get the point. The music kicks in, and we see Ethan at home alone, imagining his sister nude in front of him. He is fully clothed and just sitting on the edge of the bed, holding the panties. The way they frame it, literally nothing but imagining it makes him come. And I mean, not a moment of stroking. Camera is...
That's some superpower.
Right? Honestly, a little jealous. The camera is back in the car now.
It's like Zac Efron.
Is this movie supposed to be horror? Because like it's
marketed that way.
It's not good.
It's not good.
It's not good, and it doesn't have any horror.
I think it's a psychological thriller.
That's how they would like for you to think of it. So
I am currently thrilled psychologically. So
the camera is back at the car now as Ethan finishes his story. Quote, "See, we don't really know each other." That's how he says it. Jenna quickly says she didn't know that, and everybody laughs a bit. Liam is flabbergasted that it's his sister. Properly so. And Dante says it's disgusting. Ethan says they all saw her over Christmas break. Who in the car wouldn't sleep with her? Everyone looks at Jenna very quietly, who replies only, quote, "What? She's hot." To confirm that, yes, the entire car, full of college hormones, can acknowledge that this chick is smoking fucking hot. And the movie puts in one of its, "This is smart and thoughtful," like a smart and thoughtful thriller, not a fucking cash grab lines, where Liam says, the difference is that none of them are related, and Jenna asks if he ever told her. And then Ethan is like, "Nah, because she'd think I'm a psycho." Just you guys wait. It's not subtle build-up. It's just build-up. So, hear how he says it. And remember that it prompts Dante to look back with some stupid look that I think is supposed to say, "I know that you really are a psycho," but it looks like he's wondering what they're going to have to do when one of them has to take a shit.
No, she would have thought I was a psycho.
That's it. He's just like a psycho. Anyway, they never address the shit thing. That's just something that makes me curious. So that brings a second of silence before Ethan asks Liam what his deep, dark secret is. The tension builds. Well, Jenna says it can't be worse than Ethan's. But Liam says it's nothing like his. And Ethan looks like he's going to say something before we fade to black.
We love ordering sushi, but it was getting expensive. So to save some money, and we're not real proud of this.
No, we're not.
Have you guys seen Captain Stewie and Little Miss Neptune?
Did you look all over the place under your desk? All around?
They're fish. They live in a bowl.
What are you gonna do?
There's an easier way to save.
Whatever.
Get online. Go to geico.com. Get a quote. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
So we fade back in, and it shows that no time has passed at all. Ethan says to get on with it, and when Liam starts to speak, he stops. Jenna excitedly says, "Ooh, pregnant pause." And Liam explains that when he was 16, his dad died. The scene fades to him in his room, peeking out and watching his mom in black crying before getting into a car. On the day of the funeral, he couldn't bear to go, so he said he had been sick all morning to his mom, and he said the worst part was making his mom go alone. And I was like, you know what? Fair, Liam. So we cut back to the car, and Jenna looks much less excited. She's not even looking at him. In fact, nobody's looking at him. So Liam, in a sad tone, says, quote, "You're up, Dante."
Wait, so I don't get it. What was the thing?
It was just the thing where he never admitted to anybody that he lied to his mom and didn't go to his dad's funeral and made his mom go alone because he didn't want to go.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Okay.
Psychological thriller.
So this whole time that he asks that he tells Dante it's his turn, we're focused on Jenna's face. And when Liam says this, her eyes widen. And Dante says he really can't think of anything. But he quickly explains that he stole from his brother to finish paying for a stereo system in his car. Then we do a soft fade. Because all of these are soft fades. They're all like hard white fades that just go to some point in the past. And this shows his younger brother mowing lawns and saving his dollars and coins. We never see Dante steal it, just a fade back to explain that his brother never said anything, and that's pretty typical for his family. And so for some reason, Liam said that he's sure his brother would forgive him. Yeah, here's what Dante thinks.
I don't really think I deserve to be forgiven.
And then he looks at Jenna and says, quote, "It's your turn." So thriller. So she tells her story, but without a fade. So we're going to listen to this one.
Okay, so it's my junior year of high school, and I'm on my way to class, and these three girls who were just awful. I mean, they were like the mean girls, you know? God, they hated me. It's like they played this game. And the object of the game was always the same. It was, let's pick on Jenna. Anyways, one day I just hit my limit. I couldn't take being harassed for another day. I mean, it was just driving me insane, and I lost it. I just totally lost it. I attacked the queen bee of the group.
This was our first acting role.
Anyways, long story short, we get into this brawl, the teacher sees us, and I get expelled.
Yeah.
Okay.
For some reason.
I thought she was going to murder her.
Yeah, right?
One of these people has to have killed someone, right?
Yeah, we're getting there.
This is a lot of people.
For some reason. 4 people's a lot of fucking people. 1 out of 4 people's always killed somebody. It's just math. It's just stats.
That's how it works, right? There's only 3 of us here, so not one of us.
It's Abby. For some reason, Dante says, quote, "That's so hard to imagine." And I'm like, why the fuck would that be a hard thing to imagine?
That's not difficult at all. I just did it.
But he does ask the right question, which is, quote, what did they have against you? This makes Jenna tense up a bit, and she says there was a rumor being spread, or more of a secret, and holy shit, the windshield is cracking! Okay, so they listen and watch as cracking sounds continue, and the music builds. Dante in the driver's seat stares at the windshield, possibly trying to hold the snow back with his mind. I don't know, but I would move. However, guess what? Here's what happens.
Another good thing about Geico is they've got, like, people working there 24/7. So, like, say you need to report a claim, right? A real person will be there to help you. Then you can use Geico.com to view photos of the damage, track your claim, print an estimate. You want an English muffin? They literally hand you a toasted muffin with butter and jam. Oh, it's tasty. That's a complete dramatisation, of course, but you get my point.
Got it.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
So coming back from the ad shows the window has just stopped cracking. So Ethan says, quote, keep going, Jenna. She takes a moment and says, quote, okay. So that fall, my school hired this ridiculously hot chem teacher. I mean, God, I just had the biggest crush on him. And we get a soft fade, guys. We're going back. She continues in a voiceover as we watch a super average looking dude with messy hair right on a chalkboard. And she says, he tried to ignore her. And in no time, they're fucking. When we fade back, she's rubbing her necklace and says, quote, I guess he made me feel important or something. And Dante gestures to the necklace, asking if it's from him. She nods a yes, and they have a moment where he says it's still wrong. But she says they both knew that, but it didn't change how it felt. So Ethan asks, how was that?
Oh, God.
I'm going to give you a clip of her response.
Agonizingly erotic.
And for some reason, she gives Liam some real sexy eyes as she says it. He meets her gaze, and we get cuts of everyone's face, one at a time in silence, before Dante says, quote, how long did this go on? She explains it wasn't long, and when people started talking, things got so bad she eventually left school, and that was it. And the tension, Ethan bursts out, quote, what, Liam? As Liam looks awkwardly, and some stutters, Liam says, quote, I've never had sex. This makes Jenna look strangely shocked in a way of sadness. And Ethan laughs and says in hindsight, it's painfully obvious. Dante tries to help a bit by saying sex isn't that big of a deal, which I think Liam properly responds to with, quote, it's easy for you to say, you've done it. This leads to Ethan's only kind-hearted line in the movie.
You got jack, sport. I'm honestly bummed for you. Did you at least get to feel some titties?
Liam looks and he sighs a bit.
Oh, man. That blows.
Yeah. So, Liam waits a beat and asks if they think they'll be found. Ethan says, no. At the same time, Dante says, yes. And Jenna says, quote, it's hard to say, Liam. And Ethan blurts out, anyone want to know what time it is? Quiz
Tool time.
Quiz time, Isaac.
Oh, right.
A, Liam starts punching Ethan. B, Dante starts a diatribe about time. C, it cuts to an ad. D, nothing happens.
God, they all seem equally likely. A,
Liam starts to punch Ethan. Let's play the tape.
Tronics Country says you're approved.
I wanted a new computer, but I couldn't get financed.
If you have an active checking account and can afford low, flexible payments, you're already approved, guaranteed.
I have an active
There's
checking
no
account.
credit check, so you won't be turned down.
Tronics Country approved me quickly.
I got instant approval, and it was easy.
And with your paid order, we'll add a
Why do you
free
need to get
color
approval
printer,
if there's no
free
check?
MP3 music player, and free LCD TV. Call now and tell us where you want to
Oh my
bring your
God,
computer
that's
and
a
free gift
steal.
shipped today.
All right, anyway, back to the movie. Ethan prods Dante, saying he prods Dante, saying they owe the group a secret. And Ethan explains he was on a Pioneer patrol camping trip. This is where the murderous stuff comes in. So Ethan was a Pioneer patroller. Okay. That's what they call it in the movie, which is just the Boy Scouts, covered in patches, Boy Scout motif, all of it. Now we get another soft fade, watching young Ethan, which I do wish they took Reed Ewing and put him in a wig and tried to make him look younger like they did to Dante for some reason, but not Reed Ewing. I don't understand why. Anyway, they hired a kid to play him younger, but not the other guy. So he describes they were on some arrowhead finding mission. The kid he's with in the team of, they like set up teams of 2. Kid he's with finds it first. So Ethan shoves him down a ditch and the kid's trembling. So Ethan picks up a rock and he goes to bash the kid in the head.
That escalated somewhat quickly.
Yeah, he hears the group calling everyone back. Quote, I was going to smash this... Oh, sorry. Quote, I was going to smash his freckly face in, but then the whistle blew. So Ethan leaves him for dead, and eventually the kid was found alive and never told what Ethan did. Now, Liam breaks the silence to say to Ethan that the kid was too scared to rat him out. And Ethan, now, Dante is in the hot seat, right? It's over because everybody's like, let's ignore Ethan trying to kill somebody as a child.
Jesus Christ.
And Dante gives a cop out saying he doesn't have anything else. And Jenna reminds him that this isn't about the worst thing you've ever done game. It's the truth game.
It doesn't have to be something bad that you did. It could be anything, like, I don't know, something that you felt, never admitted.
Wink, 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 wink.
Okay. I got it.
You followed, Isaac? Ethan?
I understand what's happening here.
Ethan makes a strange argument, saying that Dante stole 2 secrets by only telling one of his own, and then Dante owes them? Anyway.
What?
Anyway, Dante gets real serious and boring and says, quote, what are you going to do if I don't smash my face in? Pretty much like that, too. Ethan takes offense and says, quote, Liam's admitted he's a virgin, for Christ's sake. Jenna takes the moment to ask Dante if he's realized they could die down there. Quote, really? Isn't there anything you just want to get off your chest? Wink, 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 wink. With a cold stare, he replies, quote, no. And Jenna grows stoic and calls that typical. While Ethan proclaims that Dante just can't think of a secret and says he should check his wallet for that special photo. The group gets curious, and Dante doesn't want to talk about it. Dante gets all bitchy and says Ethan and Jenna deserve each other, which makes Jenna curious. She knows she sleeps with Ethan, but she's been good and clear that it's not exclusive. Anyway, Liam fucking loses it here.
Guys! Please! So what if Dante doesn't want to dredge up some depressing crap from his past, alright? So what? I wish I hadn't spilled my guts. I used to have fake dignity, and now I don't even have that, so could we please just stop? Just stop!
Now...
so what? I'm still a rock star.
Now, a long stretch of silence takes place when Jenna speaks.
Liam, please look at me. You're really telling the truth, like the honest to God truth about never being a virgin.
It's because you're gay. Liam asks, why would he lie about that? And I have to be honest, his demeanor proves, in my opinion. That's fair. This kid acts it out fine. Jenna looks at Dante, who refuses to look at her. Isaac, what does Jenna say next? A. Quote, what if I were to do it with you? B. Have you seen a woman naked? C. It's okay, Liam. I know it's bothering you, but you can't let it be what you think of this whole time. D. Do you masturbate?
I want it to be D, but I think that it is A.
Yep.
What if I were to do it with you?
That's a 1-second clip.
What if I were to do it with you?
That's it. That's it. Well, I'll tell you what, this makes Dante turn and Ethan very excited. Jenna tells Liam it's not like it would mean anything while looking at Dante and says it would just be to see what it feels like when she looks at Liam. Ethan asks Dante what he thinks, to which Dante says she can do what she wants as she's her own person. And after a full 20 seconds, Jenna looks at Liam and says, quote, "So, do you want to do that? It?" Liam says he does.
Obviously. What other answer is there to that question?
So in the most awkward sex scene I've ever seen.
As I learned from Nickelback.
Oh, this sex
Because,
scene.
yes,
man.
sex is always the answer. It's never a question. Because the answer is yes, or the answer is yes.
Isaac?
It's not just a suggestion.
Isaac.
If you ask the question.
Isaac. Am I muted over here? Hey, Ben,
No.
you're his number one best friend. See if you can get over to him.
Anyway.
Oh, you ready?
Yeah.
It's the most awkward sex scene I've ever seen. Jenna gets in the back seat while Ethan stays back there, too. Dante stays in the front.
I hope so. How else is it going to work?
Well, Ethan could trade seats with Jenna, who's been in the front passenger seat this whole time.
No.
Dante stays in the front seat. Now, Jenna has her back pressed against the back of the driver's seat. And she's sitting on Liam. Dante's in the driver's seat. Liam and Jenna have a blanket around their waist. Liam looks at Ethan and asks for a condom. Jenna says not to worry about it and try not to worry about where they are. Then Liam tries to...
Don't worry about it.
Liam tries to kiss her, and she gives a no fucking way to that. For some reason, Liam has trouble getting it up, and that's the one thing I'm not going to blame this virgin on. This is a weird circumstance. All the lights are on.
That's probably not the way he wanted it to happen.
Fair. My first time was in the back of a Suburban also. Not like this. So Jenna pulls her shirt down a bit, like in the beginning, almost exactly, to where it barely reveals a little bra. While Dante strangely says, quote, "Jenna, you don't have to do this." Jenna continues to tell Jenna continues to tell Liam to relax.
Don't worry, it won't take long.
Oh, it doesn't. And the best bit of dialogue, period. Now, this might be hard to hear, but it's so good. Listen.
I don't think you're gonna have
Probably.
think you can pretend?
If you didn't catch that, she's not going to come. And so he asks her if she could pretend.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Oh, you heard that? Yeah, good. So Jenna, with a stoned face, gives a light moan. And he comes, what I assume to be buckets into her. And we cut to Liam's mom. No shit. She wakes up to the smoke alarm from the stew pot and quickly realizes he's not home. She makes a phone call, and we cut to the sheriff and deputy getting a call about a silver SUV that was last spotted on the mountain.
That's going to be confusing.
Well, it's okay.
Nope, never saw one.
I'll tell you what, it's okay, because they give a knowing look to each other. And then they head out. And I'm pretty sure they're off to find great deals.
Look closely. This $50 Buffalo gold piece is the first United States coin ever struck using .9999. That's
Is
four
that real?
nines, pure 24-karat gold. The
I
U.S.
do
government had
remember,
to
though.
stop production because of a shortage of specially... It's no wonder
How many metal ads there were in this time period? Is it just...
Oh, it's going.
The final issue price was to be set at $50 per proof.
Did you get all of the original ads that played with this?
No, I definitely tried, but I'll tell you what, they're all 2011 ads. And you know how long this ad is? It's the solid minute. It's the solid minute, which means they paid their space.
14 milligrams of pure gold is proof struck and utilizes the famous Buffalo nickel design. Strict limit of 5 proofs per color.
What is supposed to be special about a Buffalo nickel anyway?
It's 99.999999% gold.
They charge you $10 a piece, and you can only get 5 at a time? That's what's special? What they say about it?
Like, actual Buffalo nickels only were made from
This is a gold
1913
coin.
to 1938. So, that's interesting.
Well, if I remember right, the web address was literally like 2011buffalocoin.com, and I'm not fucking around. Yeah. Coming back to the movie, we see that, right? The movie's here. We see the car is tense, but Ethan, Ethan's feeling like poking the bear. Quote, "My arm hurts really bad, and I had a bad childhood. Can you come back here and give me a mercy lay?" Dante gets defensive and sternly tells Ethan to stop talking. Ethan seems quite disinterested, but for some weird as fuck AF reason, Dante says, quote, "It's nothing compared to what she's been doing to me." I want to point out that line is weird because he says it in response to Ethan being an average dickhead. Ethan says, quote, "I'm just saying, you should have been back here while she was doing this crazy jack maneuver." Next thing you know, the guys have all said something about Jenna. Liam remarks, quote, "She's Mother Teresa as far as I'm concerned." Which is the last straw for Jenna. Though she definitely makes the right person her target.
Will you guys just stop talking about me like I'm not here in the car with you? God, you're all seriously starting to piss me off. And you, with the things that I do to you. What things, Dante? Huh? What things? That's what I thought. Oh, God.
Yeah, it's pretty
Okay.
It's pretty tense. But then there's a rustling sound, and it's revealed to be Liam pulling out a sandwich. He asks everyone in a genuinely sad and kind tone if they want some of the sandwich. Ethan chuckles, and by the by, Ethan's also flicking the lighter that they used to light that joint up earlier in the beginning, which I guess they threw out. I don't think that they threw it out, but it never shows back up or comes back up. But Liam responds to the chuckling, saying, quote, "What? I'm hungry." And Ethan says, quote, "Bet you are, sport." Still dickhead behavior. Liam eats the sandwich very normally. And honestly, even the editing doesn't make it seem very loud. But Dante thinks it is.
Hey, Liam. How's that sandwich? It's good. We can tell.
Oh. All right, quiz time, guys.
Okay.
Yeah. It's time for a quiz. What does Dante do next? A, call Jenna a whore. B, tell Jenna he loves her. C, blame Liam for having sex with Jenna. D, take Liam's sandwich.
C.
Blame
There's
Liam.
this is the psychological part of the thriller.
All right, you know the drill. We're going to check the tape.
Liam, I never dreamed that it would be you, of all people, that would screw the woman that I'm in love with right in front of me.
All right. All right, Christ almighty. So this makes Jenna turn around to try and say something. Quote, "Dante!" But he's not having any of that. And he says Ethan was right, and they don't know each other. Ethan keeps flicking that fucking lighter, too. Which they never mention. It's just one of those pen clicking things that nobody decides to bring up kind of deals. Anyway.
But the eating too loud is too much.
Yeah, fuck you, Liam. Clearly distraught, Jenna looks to Liam, quote, "I only did that because I felt sorry for you. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's the only reason. You know that, right?" Liam, in another bit to make him the best character, fully agrees and calmly says, "I know." Yeah, totally on board. Now, Dante is posing as a college student, I think, because he's acting like he's in high school. Quote, "So, pity's an aphrodisiac?" Ethan laughs, and Jenna asks Dante why he didn't just say something. Dante says, quote, "I should have." And Liam, unsure of what to do, jumps in with, "I'm so sorry, Dante." What's Dante's response? Is he calm and understanding of how Liam didn't have jack shit to do with his feelings? Not for even a moment. Dante turns around with anger and says, quote, "I can expect this kind of thing from Ethan, not from you." Ethan goes ahead and takes it as a compliment. And back to the high school version of Dante. Listen to this childish shit.
I can't believe what I'm feeling right now. Crazy things.
Oh my god. Punch me or something, Dante. I understand.
Honestly, I don't think that I could stop. I think I'd kill you.
All right. Well,
Don't be mad at Liam, okay? If you're gonna be mad at anybody, you can be mad at me, but not me.
Don't worry.
great job. All right. So Jenna goes on to ask if he cared so much, why did he say something to stop her? And Ethan jumps in saying he has a theory. Dante quickly says no one asked him. And Liam's heavy breathing fills the silence before Dante says, quote, if we ever make it out of this alive, I never want to see any of you again. Jenna, yeah. Jenna jumps in, quote, not even me? And Dante takes no time to respond, especially you. So anyway, flicking his lighter, Ethan proclaims, well, we're not going to make it out of this alive. That's when Liam finds his inhaler is out. And he cannot calm down. Through strained breaths, he says he needs his backup inhaler. This moment to me is actually pretty cool in that it shows an extreme tension build, a verbal threat of murder has occurred, and yet Liam goes into panic, and Dante looks back slightly annoyed, asking if he knows where it could be. But the mood changes as Dante and Jenna begin to search frantically in an attempt to save Liam's life. Now, Liam desperately gets out through many breaths, quote, can you get my bag? To Ethan, who's staring at Liam, just wanting to watch him die. Dante screams at Ethan to check his duffel bag, and Ethan calmly states, quote, I only have one good arm, you prick. Dante reminds him he has enough pain meds for 2 arms and to get fucking looking. In keeping with his dickhead character, Ethan says he found a bag of slush, asking if it will help. Now, Dante eventually crawls into the back with Ethan to look through the bags, and Ethan says quietly to Dante, quote, I thought you wanted him dead. And Dante gets pretty pissed, screaming, quote, are you serious? Before turning on the dome light in the back that begins to dim in and out, which for some reason is what scares the hell out of the people in the car. Don't know why. Jenna gets in the back seat with Liam and tries to help calm him down while we watch Ethan in the back as he finds the backup inhaler. He looks to Dante and sees Dante is busy, so he pockets the inhaler. Dante screams, quote, come on, damn it, where is it? Here's a clip of what happens next. It's crazy.
Don't miss the hottest event of the year, the MTV Video Music Awards, with performances by Lil Wayne, Adele, Bruno Mars, Beyonce, and Lady Gaga. The 2011 MTV Video Music Awards, live this Sunday at 9.
Coming back from the ad, we see Jenna saying, Liam's getting really pale. And in no time, Liam's out. Ethan is saying to Jenna, quote, why don't you come back here? She says she will if he gets out of the fucking way. Ethan puts on a show about how his arm's hurting and getting back over the seat when he goes up to Liam's body, feels his neck, and says, quote, you guys, I think he's really dying. Before calmly telling Jenna and Dante to stop looking, because Liam is dead. Jenna attempts CPR on him for a moment, but Liam is straight up dead. So Jenna begins to cry, and Ethan embraces her. Dante has a pretty good moment where he says, quote, it's all my fault. I made him so upset. And I can agree with that.
Yeah.
Ethan comes in.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah. Good job, Dante. Ethan comes in here to say, quote, you know, in a way, he's the lucky one. Dante wonders what that means, and Ethan says, because Liam didn't have to deal with the waiting to die. Crying in Ethan's arms, Jenna asks if that's what's going to happen, that they'll just run out of oxygen and die? For some reason, Dante turns off the dome light and sits in the dark. Then Ethan slips his hand down to Jenna's breast for a squeeze. This makes Jenna freak the fuck out, rightfully so, and she jumps away from him. Quote, what the hell do you think you're doing? Ethan responds, quote, trying to make you feel better. Jenna screams, right? Jenna screams, he's trying to make himself feel better, And that's when Dante chimes in, quote, "What did you do?" And Ethan goes full-on rapist, philanthropist. Full-on by leaping at Jenna with breast-groping hands. You know the one.
Oh, yes, I do.
What? Don't say it that way. Dante chokeholds Ethan from the back seat. What?
Jesus Christ. That escalated very quickly.
Ethan says, "It was a joke." And then he elbows Dante in the face. Then he straight up holds Jenna down. Quote, "If you just relax, we can do this nice." Just in case, you forgot he's the fucking worst. There you go. But we get a little bit of fun as Jenna fucking just beats the shit out of his fucking dislocated shoulder over and over again and then punches him in the balls. Then she crawls into the back with Dante. Dante slams Ethan's head from the back before jumping over Liam's dead limp body, which I'm sure in real life would have evacuated his bowels by now. Dante punches Ethan over and over saying, "You're dead." High school stuff. Ethan gets a kick in on Dante and pulls Dante's wallet from his front jacket pocket. Then he holds it up saying, "Don't act so innocent. Take a look in there, Jenna." And tosses the wallet to the dark rear of the SUV. Dante gets freaked out and says that Jenna won't understand. And Dante returns to grappling with Ethan when from the darkness emerges Jenna's hand holding the piece of paper from the beginning. And Jenna crawls over the seat, growing with anger. Quote, "Dante, what the hell is this, huh? Where did you get this? And why is this in your wallet?" Dante says he took it from Ethan. Quote, "He told me about what..." Quote, "He told me about that night and the thing you guys have going on." Jenna, in tears and confusion, asks, quote, "What night, what thing, what the hell are you guys talking about?" The attention turns to Ethan, who says, quote, "I've been dying to tell you." It's soft fade time, guys. Ethan talks about a frat party he and Jenna went to at the beginning of the year. The whole thing is played in slow motion, all of it. No idea why. Ethan talks to some frat guys who ask Jenna if ask Ethan if Jenna's his girl, and Ethan says he should have lied, but he found out later that they roofied her drink, that they took her to her room, and then eventually the two frat guys and Ethan started taking photos with Jenna all passed out. Then Ethan gets kicked from the room, and Jenna gets brutally raped. There are no jokes here. This shit's heavy. But I don't want you to worry. This movie is dumb, and it will finish terribly. Ethan says, just so you know, Ethan says,
I hope it finishes soon. My God.
It's coming. Ethan says, dude, when you're watching the movie, it feels so much longer than this. Ethan says when he was kicked from the room, they locked the door. So he left. Then we fade back to the car.
So he left.
Yeah. Ethan continues his story, quote, "I printed out the pictures and I gave that one to you and told you that Jenna and I had sex." Dante states the obvious, that Ethan left her and let them do whatever they want. Ethan makes the excuse of, quote, "What was I supposed to do?" What? What do you want me to do?
Nothing could be done in that situation, clearly.
Then
there's nothing to do.
Yeah, then he explains he thought Dante would be more mad that him and Jenna were fucking all year. Yeah. Jenna chimes in, thank God. Quote, "I remember waking up that morning. Felt like I had been in a car wreck. How did I get home? Ethan says he went back later and the guys were gone, so he took her to her dorm and put her in bed. And that's just in case you forgot Ethan was a bad guy. Yeah, now he asks Jenna, why should she even care? And then he continues, quote, "You use sex like a hand grenade. Besides, that was a long time ago. Hasn't the statute of limitations on perverted pranks worn out by now?"
Oh my God.
You guys hate this guy yet? Did they write him slimy enough?
Okay.
All right. So Jenna freaks out, asking if he really sees this as a perverted prank. Then she turns her anger to Dante, which, yeah, man, fuck that guy. Quote, And you had this in your wallet for the entire year, and you didn't think once to ask me about it? She does this while physically crawling onto him in sheer disgust. Dante says he wanted to ask about it, but how could he? Jenna exclaims she hates them both. Dante and Ethan begin a fight, and the windshield begins to crack again. Jenna screams at Dante to stop, grabbing him and looking over his shoulder. Then she sees it, the backup inhaler for Liam. It's falling out of Ethan's pocket. Dante also notices it. And that is when things stop.
Downloading music can be expensive. So to save money, I train my dog in this cockatoo to play all the hits of the 80s.
Happening.
Hit it, Mr. Butters.
But 2011 was a very fucking weird time. 10 years, that's all it took.
Oh, God.
There's an easier way to save. Get online. Go to geico.com. Get a
Really,
quote.
Geico. That's
This
right.
could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
All right. Cutting back, Dante asked Jenna how... That was right after the rape scene. Cutting back, Dante asked Jenna how they missed the inhaler. Jenna says that they didn't miss it. It fell out of Ethan's pocket. And Ethan says, that's the old one. Dante quickly picks up the old one, and that's when Ethan says, he likes the new Dante. He's commanding. Commenting that if they weren't dead meat, he thinks Dante would have, quote, had a lot more luck with ladies. Then a little more screaming, and we get...
What?
Yeah, just screaming at each other. We get to Ethan screaming at Liam's corpse. Quote, we were running out of air because this loser was wasting my oxygen. Dante asks if he and Jenna are wasting oxygen too. When the roof of the car seems to buckle a bit, the lights flicker, and Ethan decides to try and calm things down. Quote, okay, I mean, it's scary, and it's making me a bit crazy. I know, but I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh, that fixes everything.
Good job, Ethan.
You said the magic word.
Jesus Christ.
It's all good now.
Dante tells him to not even try that shit. Then the lights fade out, and Dante looks for a flashlight. And Ethan flicks his lighter in front of his face and says, quote, better not use the lighter, wasting the oxygen. Then lets it go out. Dante finds a flashlight, so who gives a shit, I guess. And Jenna comments, it feels like it's getting harder to breathe, so that line's finally paying off, I guess. Dante states no one's coming to find them, and asks Jenna if she'll come with him. Ethan says they're insane. While Dante and Jenna bundle up, Dante tries to roll down his window again, and says, oh no, there's no power. So he'll have to break it. And Ethan chimes in saying, quote, I'm not loving that idea. They go ahead and ignore him, then kick the window out. Ethan says he doesn't think they'll make it. And Dante screams back that they don't care what he has to say.
That's fair.
Yeah. Dante looks at the snow, and he says he thinks they can make it out. Then we get a cut to a truck on the highway. The driver sees his check engine light come on and pulls over. That's when he spots a snowboard sticking out of the ground and radios in a call. Cutting back to Dante, we see him deep in the snow digging out space before coming back in the car. Dante says they need to go out, go now, and Jenna gets apprehensive. Dante says he'll make the hole big enough for the two of them and come back. Ethan says they should leave the flashlight, they won't need it, and Dante says that neither will Ethan. Basically saying fuck off. Dante crawls back out and gets to scraping, while Jenna packs down the snow he pushes in. Now Dante crawls back in and tells Jenna they have to leave for some reason. Anyway, she dons her gloves and prepares to leave. Before stopping, she stops Dante and she looks at Liam. She covers him in the sex blanket and they start off. When Ethan says, quote, are you just going to leave me here? I mean, you're going to send for help. I can't use my arm. Dante looks at Jenna and says, quote, Jenna, I think you should be Jenna, I think that should be your call. Jenna looks to Ethan and says, quote, you're on your own, Ethan, just like I was. And I don't necessarily like comparing this really, but I'm going to. Ethan is a fuck stain. He's also a made-up person, so like, I don't really care extra if he dies. But in this comparison, Ethan asked if they would send someone, and in the story, the only thing he did was come back for her. So, I mean, yeah, leave him down there, but like, send help. Anyway, they crawl out, and the camera pans to the dash of the car, landing on the necklace that Jenna wore the whole time just sitting there. So she left that down there. You guys remember that bit? There you go.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I guess they wrapped that up. Anyway, then there's another commercial, and I'm not...
Close that arc.
I'm not going to play another ad. We cut back. We see a search, and rescue team is in full effect. We start to get cuts back and forth of the rescue crew prodding the snow, and Dante and Jenna cutting their way through. But we also see Ethan flicking his lighter on and off and tells Liam, the corpse of Liam, that they'll come back for him before he hears the windshield cracking again. And here's the final quiz. Does he A, try to escape the car, B, start to masturbate, C, say the Lord's Prayer, or D, see Liam as a ghost?
Oh my God. One of these happens?
Yeah.
C.
All right, here we go.
Not yet. Our Father, who art in heaven. What comes next? Hallowed be thy name. I'm not
So he's dead as fuck. Cut to Dante and Jenna again. They feel the full effect of the snow crashing into the void of the vehicle, but they seem to be okay. They embrace each other, and we see the search and rescue working frantically in one spot. Dante is shown apologizing to Jenna, and she accepts it. The music becomes tender, and Jenna asks Dante, could he ever still love her if they get out alive? Dante responds by asking if she can still love him. It's really fucked. They kiss deeply, and the rescue crew reveals their frozen and dead bodies holding each other. Now we get, they're all dead. Now we get this classical music sound, and the bodies are airlifted somewhere together, embracing each other, frozen like a popsicle. And we cut.
But why?
That's a good question.
Why did we do all this for that? Don't worry, the movie thinks it's brilliant. Just hold on. It thinks it's got something else up its sleeve even. Oh man. We cut to a shot of Ethan in his dorm. And this is where the movie strokes its fucking ego. We see we see them characters interacting in the hall of the dorm while this voiceover plays.
We became friends because we've lived on the same floor since September, correct? And we just assume we actually know each other? I think we don't. I think we don't know each other for real. I'm absolutely 100% certain we don't.
You're lucky you got a single, unlike the rest of us who just got thrown together with a complete stranger, you know? I guess that's why they call your freshman friends your throwaway friends, right?
Ethan was right. We don't know each other. None of us do.
Yeah. That's the truth below.
My God. I'm so glad that it's over.
Could barely call that a thriller.
That's the movie.
My God, that was terrible. Yeah. Everything.
All of it.
Everything was terrible.
Yeah. The final thing I want to say here is that the credits scroll past in 40 seconds. The credits are 40 seconds of this movie. And I want to wrap up this episode with a small statement. I do actually love this movie. I've watched it for the last 10 years. This movie is 10 years old, and I have somehow been aware of it the entire time. And it's not a good movie. It's far from the worst, very far. It has competent framing, some writing, and editing, and it's actually got a story, but at its best, it's a mediocre film. But guess what? Everything is someone's favorite, and when it comes to made-for-TV movies, this is definitely one of my favorites. Now, hypothetically, if I liked it like so much, I would have downloaded it probably like from a torrent site in 2011 and watched that file all this time. And let's say I did do that, and it would have been the only one available on all the net, which is a standard definition version. And hell, I'd say if all that happened, I'd be inclined to even use an AI program to upscale it to 720p. But that's just me. So if some reason you, the listener, want to watch this movie, I don't have it. I don't have it.
Don't
that was
do it.
hypothetical.
Don't watch it.
Don't watch it.
That is one of the gifts from God that it is unavailable.
Well, not entirely wrong. That was a hypothetical, but the movie was uploaded by somebody on YouTube, and honestly, it truly wasn't me. It's very surprising to me that happened. So before that gets taken down, go check it out there.
The whole movie.
What do you think, Ben?
I'm glad that the person that wrote it, their IMDb credits only have them listed for The Truth Below. So they can't hurt anybody else.
I saw that too. It looks like it's probably just an alias.
Oh, God. What other damage have they done?
We'll look into it. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. Well, that's the end of another story from our boys. But since you listened to this by choice, let's go look at the web address. Come on. It's over here at myleastfavoritepodcast.com. All right, guys. That's it. I'll try not to bother you about this movie ever again, because you did that.
Yeah.
God, that movie is not good.
No. It's highly flawed.
What a complete waste of time that was for everybody involved in the making of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can't imagine that Geico, for the ad slots, they had to have just been filling, the time slots. They weren't specific to the movie.
No, absolutely not. No.
But the ad breaks provide the greatest bits of comedy for this.
Yeah, I'm so